for Spiritual Living Nashville. I'd also like to welcome those who are watching online. Today our speaker is Gregory Fisher. We always look forward to Gregory's talks and the heart and humor he brings to us. Today Gregory's talk is titled The Lure of Personal Importance. And joining our band today as guest artist is Lisa Firestone. So who is CSLN? We are an open and inclusive New Thought spiritual community that is the spiritual home to people of all backgrounds and lifestyles. We believe that whether it is called God, Spirit, or the universe, there are many paths as people explore their own spiritual journey. Wherever you are and wherever you may find yourself on that journey, you are welcome here. Let's move into spirit. Just everybody close your eyes and take a deep breath. And turn within and know with me that there is one God, one heart surrounding us right now, always. The one source that created all things, created me, created everyone here, and is still creating. It lives in each of us right now. There is a golden thread of truth that moves through all spiritual paths, and we bless them all. We are open to the lesson today. We breathe in the willingness to experience something fabulous today, something that allows us to feel more connected, something that shows us how to live our most magnificent lives. We are so grateful for that inspiration, for this lesson that Gregory is sharing with us today, and the beautiful music we'll hear. So grateful for this day and for being together to experience it as a community. And so it is.
Good morning, CSLN.
I'm waiting for the bell. Are we not going to do the bell? No bell? Oh, okay. Go ahead. Let's hear it. Are you ready? Okay.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. all around there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see obstacles in my way. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be bright, it's gonna be bright, it's gonna be bright, sunshine.
Mr. Firestone.
Larry Craig Lover.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Elaine Benson, and I'm one of your practitioners. And I just wanted to tell our wonderful band this morning, that was a magical song this morning. All of you together was, it was just perfect. So thank you. Thank you. Oh, and so good to hear you again, Lisa. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. This morning, I'm reading from the Science of Mind magazine, and the title of the article is The Good We Affirm. So how many of us are listening to the confusion of the world and the words that go to make up this confusion? Even in the face of all this confusion, we can still speak a word of peace. And we can speak a word of peace with authority because we know that behind humanity's conflicts, there is always the peace of God, which is never disturbed by our strife. When we become disturbed inside about anything, then is the moment to be still and say, peace. And when we are afraid of anything, then is the time the word faith. And when we become angry or listen to the words of hatred, then is the moment to use the word love. It is not enough to simply do this once or twice. We must discipline ourselves so that we persist in using these creative spiritual commands. We must do it over and over again until what was at first a conscious and deliberate effort to speak the good word becomes so embodied in our minds, so completely accepted, that there is nothing within us that argues with the good we affirm. We must let words of peace and faith and love become so deeply seated in our minds that we use them automatically. When we have acquired this spiritual habit, we shall discover that our experience responds to the words we use in exactly the same way we use them. So if you will, just allow your eyes to gently close. Prepare for our opening treatment. And I know that there is only one power, one presence, and one divine creative intelligence, and I am one with this presence that I am calling God today. And I am very grateful for these words of peace and faith and love to help me move through difficult situations, because I had an experience in the last week where these words, almost these very words, were exactly what got me through a very difficult situation. So I'm very grateful for this article and for these words today. And most of all, for that presence that lives in me all the time and that I can call on at any minute. And it's always there. It's always present. And for that, I am very, very grateful. And I am grateful for the sale of our building, as it was a great blessing for all of us. And I'm grateful that we have a new opportunity for a new building that we will be looking at. And whichever way it goes will be a blessing for us as well. And I'm grateful for our new heart-centered minister. That is a true blessing for our community because they speak to us. They resonate with us as a community, and we bless them as they move into oneness with us. And I want to thank Unity for embracing us, their community embracing us as one of them and allowing us to use this incredibly beautiful space so that we can have our services. So I'm very appreciative and grateful to them and for them. And so it is with love and gratitude that I release my word into the law of mind, knowing that this or something so much better is already done for all of us, for our community, for our church. So and together we say, and so it is.
Billions live their lives that Muhammad, Krishna, or Buddha are the way. Still some believe it's right to say in the name of Jesus when we pray. We are a humankind of 7 billion. So many different races and religions, and it all comes down to one. Some say God's a him, still many believe he is a her. Does God live in our hearts? Or is she somewhere out there in the universe? We are a humankind of 7 billion. So many different races and religions, and it all comes down to one. How far will we have to go before we learn the lesson? Gandhi was a Hindu, Martin Luther King are a pantheon of gods up in the sky. We can heal our broken hearts if we give up the desire to be right. We are a humankind of 7 billion, so many different races and religions, and we all want the same thing: health, love, prosperity, and peace. Tolerance is the seed, while love and pure acceptance the tree. We are a humankind of 7 billion, so many different races and religions, and it all comes down to one. Whether you are wing, brown, yellow, black, or white, a man with a husband or a woman with a wife, we can debate until the end of time who's wrong or right, or we can see our sins as one, 'cause it all comes down to love. It comes down to love. Thank you.
Yes, you do. Just go ahead and say so. You know, and we're going to talk about personal importance today, so you should think you look fabulous from that standpoint. I feel like for the last few months, I've kind of only had one sermon, and I just keep preaching it over and over. Preaching, listen, I just fell back on my Southern Baptist roots, didn't I? I just keep talking about the same thing, so I guess it's what's up for me. A few years ago, I was going through a very difficult situation, and I was really struggling. A lot of crying, and you know me, I cry pretty easily, but I was crying a lot, like all day, every day for a few weeks. And I went off to get some help for that, and when I came back, I discharged from that place on Friday, and I was supposed to be speaking at Christ Unity in Chattanooga on Sunday. And so I just kept crying through the weekend, and I thought, I am pretty sure I need to call those people and tell them I'm not going to be able to come. And a voice in my head that I sometimes think is God, but it might just be me, said, it's possible this is the best time for you to go. So I got down there, and I stood up and I said, I just need to tell you I'm a fraud. I'm a fraud. I've come here for 10 years and spoken to you like I knew what I was talking about. But today I'm pretty sure of this. I only have one story to tell, and it's mine. You know, I can come and tell you what I've read in books. I can come and tell you what Mitch has said to me. I can come and tell you all these things, and they're true. But the only story I really have to tell that matters is mine. So I made a promise to myself from that time on, and that was over 10 years ago, that I would make sure that I was always telling my story. So if you're bored with my story, sorry. Here's what I know today. There have been 4 teachers in my life in the last 30-some years that have impacted me so greatly that I am the man I am today. And as I talk about this topic today of the lure of personal importance, I can tell you, I can show you the map of how I've come to this topic by way of those people. Now, I'm always honored when Mitch is in the audience and a little bit terrified, I'm just going to be honest. Because I always want to go, am I getting this right? Right? When I first came to CSLN, which was, of course, then religious science, in 1991, I heard Mitch speak, and as I've heard so many of you say, I knew that moment that I had found home. I found a home I'd been looking for my entire life. And so I kept coming back. Now, I was at the time, about 4 years into my own recovery from substance abuse. I had been on a journey at that point to heal my wounds for many, many more years. When I was 26 years old, one day in the middle of a situation with someone that had been my childhood abuser, and I realized that I was a very wounded person, and that if I was ever going to find anything remotely like happiness, I was going to have to make a conscious effort to heal those wounds. Not unlike many people that I see nodding their heads subtly right now. You see, the human experience often is about overcoming the ways that the world got its hands on us. Right? Wounds. You know, we right now the word trauma is, so prolific in our world and in, the work that I do as a therapist and a counselor. I hear trauma, I hear trigger, I hear wound all day, every day. But the reason I hear it is because it's so true and it's so prevalent in our world. And I watch people who come to me and others, there are several others of you in the room, say, help me heal my wounds. More than that, what they really say is, heal my wounds. Will you heal my wounds? Whew. People, I am not up to that task. I can tell you the things that have worked in my life to heal wounds. I can tell you even somewhat of what the books say, although those who know me much as a therapist know that I probably talk about my own experience too much. I'm going to shrug my shoulders on that. I'm not sure yet if that's true or not. But I know one thing, healing is a journey. And mine has been going on now for 42 years. Now, here's something, I'm going to come back to who those 4 teachers were, but here's something I want you to kind of, and I've talked about this here before, but if you can think of, we say around here that we are humans, we are the divine having a human experience. And I think it's easiest to understand this if we can think of it as that there are 2 parallel lives going on within us. The one life is the divine life, and it is the part of me that is connected to it, always. I am it, but not all of it. Isn't that a lovely thought? Doesn't that just bring you such peace? I am it, but not all of it. It's so much bigger than me, and I have access to it at all times. That is this divine life. And it's to the extent that I recognize it and I allow it and I ask it to come through me that I'm experiencing the divine. And let me tell you something, people, it is accessible at all times. It's as easy and as close as our breath, which, by the way, is often the way to it. Oh, there it is. Hello. Hello, gorgeous. Hello, lovely. Then there's this other life going on. It's called the human experience. Our human experience is made up of the form of our life, which includes our body, but it also includes like where we are, what we do, who we're with, the form. Then we have the focus. That's our thoughts. What's going on up here? Sometimes it's calm. For me, usually it's chatter monkey. Anyone ever experienced chatter monkey? Don't raise your hand. Or if you want to, you can. Chatter monkey. Chatter monkey often is being motivated by fear. Fear. See, that divine experience, it's always love. It's always love. People say to me, how do I know the difference between my divine life and my human life? The divine life is always coming from love. Does that feel like love? Oh. Does that feel like fear? Oh. Back over there. It's okay. Our thoughts, our form, our focus, our form, and then our feelings, our emotions. What am I feeling? What am I feeling? What are our emotions? So those three things. If I had the Venn diagram, and by the way, I do have, I wish I'd known that we had slides, I would have brought it. But see, if you see those three things overlapping, right here where they all overlap, guess what that is, if we allow it? That's the divine part. And it's wanting to influence these other three parts. That's the way it's supposed to work. But there's something that separates us. It separates this divine from the thoughts, the feelings, and the form. And that's fear. That's wound. That's trauma. It separates us. What we're trying to get back to when we talk about healing is allowing those wounds to calm down. The parts of us that have been created because of the wounds, could we ask them to step back? Less of you, please. Could you stop being so extreme? Breath. Less extreme, please. That part of us is called the inner critic. Anyone know that one? You don't have to raise your hand. The inner critic. It judges me all day, every day. Everything I do, everything I say, every thought I think, every feeling I have. That critic. And guess who else it criticizes and judges? Everyone around me. All day long. Because you see, my fear and my wound requires me to compare myself to everybody else. And I feel better about me when I can make you worse. Right? Anyone ever experienced that? Don't raise your hand. So I spend all day trying to calm all that stuff down. Now, I'm going to go back to those four people. The first one, Mitch. And Mitch taught me so much. One of the lessons he taught me was he exposed me to Michael Beckwith. And Michael Beckwith's 4 stages of spiritual development. The first one is called the victim. Sound familiar to anything I've been talking about? The victim. And it's also, in the spiritual world, it's me to it. It being God. And this idea that for me to have a relationship with God, I have to constantly be its victim. And that's so easy to accept because everything in me is already saying I'm a victim. I've been victimized, and I show up as the victim. And then I try to bolster myself up so you won't see that I'm the victim, and then it's just all a big mess, right? And unfortunately, there are religions that many of us have been exposed to that, by the way, have caused its own set of trauma that says being the victim is right. See, you're separate from that God, and you've got to please that God, or that God's going to send you to hell. Oh my. Is there anything divine in there? Have we just completely lost all sense of a divine self, of a part of us that could never be disconnected from it, could never have to be anything to change its mind, and that could never go to hell, because what the heck is that? Right? The victim. So then we come to a place like this. You see, I heard Mitch's sermon and I said, this feels like home, because for the first time someone said to me, what if none of that's true? What if none of that's true? I'm going to tell you, by the way, this is an aside, write that comment down, that question down. What if this isn't true? All day long, you should be asking yourself that question as these stories that are playing in your head are going by. You say, what if that's not true? Who would I be? Well, how do I respond when I believe it's true? And who would I be if I knew it was not true? That's an aside. Who would I be if it weren't true? So then we come to this place, and we not only learn that we are already connected to God, that there's this divine self already in here, but we also learn I can use that to create the life I want. I can find abundance, I can find prosperity, I can find health, I can find relationship, I can find all the things that I've been separated from because of my trauma. You see, trauma separates us from our sense of safety, from our sense of belonging, from our sense of self-worth, and from our ability to even be aware of that. So, when I come to a place like this, I learn, wait, I can get those things back. I can find safety. I can feel belonging. I could feel worthy. And I could be aware of my place in this universe. That sounds like healing, right? But we also call that stage the manifester. So I'm manifesting these things. Here's where I get back to the lure of personal importance. You see, because Denise, my beloved Denise, who uses the term, I love it so much, metaphysical malpractice. See, metaphysical malpractice is when that ability to manifest and to know of my relationship with something that is me but is also greater than me lets me believe that that makes me important. Now I'm important. See, I had no esteem, but now I've got plenty. You know, I had no abundance, but now I'm learning how to manifest it. You know, my relationship sucked, but now I've found all these wonderful relationships. All of this makes me important. I've manifested this thing, and it's all about me. It's all about me. Then, here's how it becomes even worse malpractice. We start judging ourselves by how well we've done with that. And we'll judge other people too. Well, you know, Donna. I heard she was sick. Guess she's not up on her new thought. You see how this goes? So what are we back to? We're back to that thing where I'm judging me and I'm judging you, and I have a need to be seen as important. Personal importance. The lure, you see the lure, it's so subtle, people. It's so subtle. I read recently, if I need to be right, that's my ego. Let's take that further. If I need to be seen, that's my ego. If I need to be loved, that's my ego. See, because all of that is coming from where? Fear. Fear that I'm not enough. Fear that it will never be enough. Fear. Fear that you're not enough. Breathe. So Mitch, then there was a woman minister whose name will not be spoken, but she came into my life and she said, you know that third one, that channel? Yeah, you can actually do that. What? Yeah, it's the next step because it's the next step. Channel. Channel. Let it that is in you, but not all of you, come through you. Let that love that is you, but also greater than you, be what moves you. It's what speaks. It's what sings. I'm talking about me now. It's what has relationships. It's what shows up. Because it's never afraid. It's never wounded. It never knows the wrong thing to do or say. Because it is it. See, Lisa just sang wonderfully about one. Thank you for being led. I see you, girl. One. It has nothing to fear. It has no wounds to feel. It has no motivation other than to be magnificent. See, and it's in that place that I don't need to have the lure. I don't need to have the lure. The third person right now in my life who is challenging me about personal importance is this woman, Jenny Gentry, that I go spend time with down in Mexico. Let me tell you now, she's hard. Because she will see your wound and she will poke it all day. Won't she, Lisa? Won't she, Becky? Some of you, there's a Becky back there. She will say, let's talk about that. What is that? The first time I went down there, I walked up to her and said, hi, my name's Gregory. And she said, it's Greggy. Your name's Greggy. It'll be Greggy the whole time you're here. Now, how many of you know that you probably, like some of you are raising your head on that. Yeah, the first time you said, hi, Greg, and I said, I don't go by Greg. Greg is never my name. My name's Gregory, big important thing. Big, big, big. Huge. Talk about a wound. But you know what that wound is? At 3 years old, I had to be the adult in my life because I looked around the room and it didn't look like there were any other ones there. So Gregory was an adult name. And somehow, Jenny, by me just walking up to her and saying, hi, my name's Gregory, she said, let's make you a child. Wouldn't it be lovely if you could find a child in there? Let's call you Greggy. And I mean, it went into my heart like a hot dagger. And just as I was about to let her know, I took a deep breath instead, and I went, oh. Personal importance, step back. Wound, ease, call me Greggy. I think it'd be good for me. And I could tell you so many more things about what Jenny Gentry has done in my life. But mostly what she said to me is, there's a dream. Any of you that have read the Four Agreements, this is Toltec wisdom we're talking about. She said, there's a dream that you're dreaming, and it's not true. Sound familiar? It's very similar to the same teaching here. In fact, there's no part of it that doesn't agree with what we believe, because truth is just truth. But there's a story you're telling yourself, and it's not true. And it causes you suffering. Wouldn't you like to suffer less? So, there's that. And the other person, the fourth person, is a guy named Stan Mitchell. I don't know, many of you here in town have probably heard of Stan Mitchell. He was the pastor of Grace Point Church. It was a huge mega church here in town. And he came out of the closet as a progressive. And boy, those people said, not today, not here. He is one of the loveliest men. I can't be with him that I don't start sobbing at some point in the conversation, because it's just such love at all times. And so here's what he's doing. I can't believe it. After years of thinking I had this all figured out, he's making me fall in love with Jesus again. And I say that with a bit of disdain. Because I always said, Jesus is just all right with me. And that was about all I wanted to hear about all of that. And then here comes Stan. I'm going to close today with something he wrote this week. And I will cry. Jesus was clear when he shared his thoughts about riches. He taught that positions of wealth, advantage, and privilege could be deceptively and devastatingly dangerous for the soul. Of course, in speaking about riches, Jesus was speaking about more than money. He was speaking about anything a person might possess in abundance, anything that might advantage them in relationships to others. Jesus knew wealth could be manifest not only as financial abundance, but in areas including, but certainly not limited to, social status, academic achievement, religious heritage, physical ability, gender, ethnicity, and the human capital of connections. To that end, it doesn't take an overly careful look at the life Jesus lived to decipher this wisdom for the safe and moral handling of riches, regardless of their kind. Per Jesus, if one does find themselves in abundant possession of the world's goods, they would do well to follow these admonitions. Remember, we're talking about personal importance. Be honest, humbly grateful, aware of the advantages you hold. Do not underestimate or understate them. Do not hoard those things for which others strive. Do not believe they are yours only for your sake. Enjoy them by sharing. Whatever you do, do not trust them for your happiness or peace. Right? See, there's nothing wrong with having things. There's nothing wrong with wanting things. There is something devastatingly wrong about needing them. You see the difference? Do not oversimplify the reasons for the presence of those riches in your life. Remind yourself often hard work and personal virtue are not the exclusive reasons for your privilege. You may not have been born on third base, but surely you know neither did you hit a triple. I'm on third base, and it's not because I got me here most times. And for Christ's sake and your souls, do not oversimplify the reasons for the absence of these same advantages in the lives of others. Do not be uncharitable and foolish as you assess the reasons for the hardness and harshness of their life. Number 6, for it is indeed hard for a rich person to enter the beloved community, but with God, all things are possible. See, isn't it interesting? Usually when we hear that scripture, we use it against ourselves. Oh, it's hard for a rich person to get into heaven. I don't like that one, rip. But it's not what he's saying. With God, all things are possible. With God. How about we know where it came from in our lives? How about we know we're channeling something that is us but is greater than us, and that's where it all comes from. And in this, Jesus taught us how. I'm going to end my talk today with Jesus. I love you all so much, and so it is.
Oh, thank you, Gregory. As always, wonderful. So now it is time to give back to what serves us. If you consider CSLN your spiritual home, or if something has touched you today, there are many ways you can share the love with us, and we are so grateful for your donation to our center. I'd like to ask our ushers to come forward now. And in addition to the baskets that they'll be passing, we also have 4 other ways we can accept your gift. You can use a credit card in our bookstore or at the terminal in the lobby behind us. There is a document with a QR code at the back of the sanctuary, and there's another one at the welcome desk in the lobby. For our online viewers, you could make a contribution using the link that you see online, or you can mail your donation to the street address, which is actually now a P.O. box, and you can find that on our website under About Us. So please say with me, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you for your loving gifts.
Birds flying high, you know how it feels. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Oh, breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Oh, blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn and a new day and a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when the day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world, is a bold world for me. Take it out. Stars when you shine, you know what I mean. Scent of the pine, you know what I mean. No, freedom is mine, I know what I mean. It's a new dawn and a new day and a new life. It's a new dawn and a new day and a new life. It's a new dawn, new day, new
everybody.
Larry Faragelli, your music director.
I am loving this sound. Wow. So thank you, Gregory, and thank you, Larry, Lisa, Jimmy Lopez on percussion. You are amazing, all three of you. Thank you so much. So we have a few announcements before we close our service. As you know, we have some big decisions to make, so there will be a town hall meeting after our service in the fellowship hall. And if you are not aware of the big decisions we're making, this will be a really interesting town hall meeting for you. And we have food will be provided, so please join us. For those of you who are not comfortable speaking up in groups, we have a suggestions box, and we will have paper in there. And you can write your questions down if you have questions or comments that you want to make and you'd rather not speak. So that will be provided as well. And we are planning to have another town hall meeting next Saturday at the Holy Trinity Community Church on Charlotte Pike, and some details will come out in the newsletter this week about that. We also have our annual meeting will be after the service on April 28th, and we will be electing board members to the Board of Trustees. So if you have ever thought, you know what's missing in my life is serving on CSLN's board, it's your chance. So no, seriously, it does take time. At times it can be frustrating, but it is also incredibly rewarding. When I think about where we were at 4 years ago when I first started serving on this board and where we're at now, it is very rewarding to be a part of that. So the nominating, thank you. So the nominating committee, you just have to let either David Arnhalter or me know, or you can send an email to the admin email address and let Raquel know. And so we are so excited. We have reopened our youth program and have a great child and family team, but we're always looking for additional volunteers. So please email Raquel if you are interested. And we ask you to please hold some of our community members in your prayers, Alan Woodard, Gary Bowers, and Gary Hoffman, in Healing Thoughts. And don't forget to connect midweek with the men's group and the women's circle. And if you want any of these details regarding these announcements, you can find them in our newsletter, you can find them in our website. Before we close our service, I'd like to welcome anyone who's visiting for the first time. Please don't leave without giving us the honor of meeting you. Join us in the fellowship hall where we all gather every week for refreshments. And if you're watching online, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It really does help us with the analytics. And I would like to ask our practitioners and our speaker, and Reverend Mitch, Reverend Dee, to come forward. If there is something on your heart, something you're dealing with, or if you'd like to attract something into your life, all of these professional practitioners are here to give you a prayer treatment as soon as the service is over. Or fill out a prayer request form and put it in the secure box on the table in the hallway. And if you're watching online, go to our website under practitioners and you can contact any one of us directly. So please join me for our closing treatment. I'll say it in the first person and invite you to make it personal to you. There is one intelligence, one mind, that hung the stars in the heavens and created every one of us, and no matter what I call it, God or Spirit, it is the one. It is all there is, and it is only good. Every possibility already exists in the one mind. Since I was created from it, I am one with it. I express and can experience all of these fabulous possibilities. So everything I want to manifest in my life already exists. The abundance of good health, loving relationships, financial prosperity, a joyful career, and a sense of belonging, and so much more. More than I can imagine already exists in the mind of God, and I open myself to receive. I show up as love, even in the most difficult situations, knowing that love is greater than any circumstance or condition. And for our center, I am guided by divine action. I release any fears of the unknown and know that whatever the outcome is, it is the right one because divine right order is always working. I go within and I listen to that voice inside of me that always guides me. I know that the highest and best good have already manifested. The process flows with great ease and success. And I know that the perfect senior minister already exists and is attracted to us. With the deepest gratitude, I say thank you, for I know everything I have spoken and even more is already done. I release my word to the law that always responds to my thoughts and my words. It is always working. I need not do anything else. I release and let go. And together we say, and so it is. So let's put a little love in our hearts and stand for the closing song.
All right, let's stand, let's sing.
This program is a service of the Center for Spiritual Living Nashville. May your life be filled with joy and prosperity in every way. Learn more about our programs or contact one of our practitioners at our website, cslnashville.org. You may also want to follow us on Facebook at CSLNASH. You can make a big difference with your financial gift at lovecsln.com. Please share the link to this program with a friend and join us again next Sunday. Have a wonderful week.